Tēnā rākau katoa, mā koe tū ki te mihi ki a koutou e hui hui mai nei tēnei ahi. Tuatahi mā koe mihi ki a i o mātua kore, nāna ko ia te timatanga o ngā mea katoa. Look, honour and a privilege to be here today, and I'm going to go fast because I know that you're all really good readers, and I've been really humbled today sitting in the audience and listening to things, and I just want you to know that I'm really just a naughty kid from Porirua. And it's that naughty kid that weighs up consequences and does it anyway that fuels what I do today. So mihi nui kia koutou katoa, mihi nui kia koe whetu, kare au te mōhio kei hea koe. But awesome to be here. So yes, you did hear from Melinda, and I'm going to go really fast with this because anyway, it's a joint NZPF Tiakatia Ministry initiative born out of challenge and the need for change. It's about a revolution. And I make no moans about it. I'm building an army to fight a revolution. Not with weapons, but with hearts and minds. So the fundamental philosophy of the Max is leaders helping leaders to become better leaders. It's a cross-cultural learning community. It's got 157 schools and their principals, 44,832 students, of whom 13,000 or 29% are Māori. So when you work for things for Māori, everybody benefits. So anyway, this is just a word. We talk about challenge and changing hearts and minds, and this is a comment from a principal participant, and you can read that. The Max was started back in 2013, and we originally started with 49 schools. We have 6 facilitators all around the country, and we've grown to 9 clusters, including the NZPF executive as a cluster. It is about challenge, it is about change, but it's about aroha and it's about support. So this is it. What I have been challenged by is bigger than just our school. I've been given a new lens from which to view things. I am looking forward to MAC and walking alongside many principals and others to help polish and refine this lens to improve Māori achievement in Aotearoa and as a result of that, a better place for all of us in this wonderful, amazing, beautiful nation. So, oppression, racism, is systemic in society, and it's unwittingly and unconsciously reproduced by many people who have no racist intentions whatsoever, and in fact would fall over and drop down dead if you said, I find that very offensive, I think it's racist, right? Nowadays we use another word for it because it's more palatable. Anyone know what that is? Unconscious bias. That sounds better, doesn't it? But anyway, it's mostly there. Most of us don't know about it. And in this nation, as a nation of people, we have not had the privilege to learn truth. We have not had the privilege to learn the true history, the complete history of Aotearoa, therefore to enable us to understand, therefore walk together. So the MAC initiative is a transformational experience that can only lead to leaders improving their environment for Māori students to thrive in their schools. MACs, transforming thinking, hearts and minds, becoming conscious of the unconscious bias, assumptions, expectations and perceptions. Now I tell you what, in my life, and I've got a for example there, but just to let you know that more often than not, wherever I go, it's yes sir. Very rarely do I get yes ma'am or yes miss. Depends on the scarf I'm wearing. I deliberately got one that was kind of frilly. Actually, I didn't get it. My sister gave it to me. And I thought, I really want people to know I'm a woman today, so I think I better wear that scarf. See, the title of this kaupapa is about deliberately different or something, wasn't it? Well, I am deliberate in my difference. And I use my difference to do what I do. And all of that is embedded in being an Māori kid from Porirua. Actually having to survive in dire, very, very, what would I say, dysfunctional environment. In a racist, in a classist, in a sexist, in a homophobic country. Anyway, so we've moved past that, but this, I want to just get you to see about perception. So how many of you, if you just saw me walking around, would think I was a man? Go on, be courageous. Kia ora, thank you. Yeah, see? Right, so perception, we take things on the surface. Okay, and I mean, I have to say there are many, 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 many advantages of having a foot in both camps. So, look, bring it on. You know, for me, disadvantages and opportunity. Okay, so anyway, some of you have seen this bit, but I love doing it because it shows a little bit about me. And, you know, the Max is about being real, about being authentic, about being courageous, about being you, warts and all. And it's about being really honest in that. So I'm going to move to the next slide. Some of you might have seen a little bit of it, but anyway. So, I am Te Pito Mātauranga, the National Coordinator of Te Arahau, the Māori Achievement Collaboratives. I am also the National President of Te Akatia. I am also Ngāti Rangiwewehi, Ngāti Raukawa. I am also Polish and Jewish. And my dad was born in Liverpool, so I know I never walk alone. So in Māori, kotahitanga, and in the other side of the pommy stuff, I don't walk alone. Okay? So I'm Te Pito Mātauranga, and that, you know, I go into schools and that's what the kids, they see me there. Some people reckon I'm a taniwha, kei te pai, because some people see me like that. According to Mihimere, who was at my school, I'm a fairy who flies around giving awards for courage. Now you can see and understand why you would see that, wouldn't you? But honestly, perception is what you see and through the lens that you look through. Okay, so I can be a man, I can be a woman, I can be anything. I have actually gone into men's toilets. Right, okay. You may see me as something like this, up the top there, and yeah, okay. But I'm also seen as this. And the more I look at that, the more I see myself. And you guys, I'm gay. I know you're looking at that and imagining, but never mind. So it's all about perception and the lens that you look through. So Max challenges perceptions, stereotypes, belief systems, myths and assumptions. Now here you'll recognise, some of you have seen this, but you recognise the similarities. How could they think that I'm not a woman when I can create that? Honestly. Anyway, this is Te Hira Moiwaka Kake. And Melinda, who is here today, is first cousin to Te Hira. Te Hira's dad and Melinda's mum are brother and sister. So Te Hira Moiwaka is descended from chiefs, from Ngāpuhi. She is obviously a model, like her mother. I mean, I should say actually I'm not her birth mother, in case you sort of didn't wonder because of the similarities. But anyway, all of her schooling, apart from being a model and earning thousands and thousands of dollars and enabling me to, I don't know quite what, because, yeah. Anyway, all of her schooling has been in and through Te Reo Māori, embedded in Whanaungatanga, mana, wairua and tikanga. So, but if you're anywhere in the world, beautiful young woman, would go, beautiful young Māori woman, you wouldn't necessarily think that, would you? But she is very proudly Māori, bilingual and bicultural, like me. Success is Māori, like. Outside of school, in Māori medium, she doesn't feel comfortable. And the reason she doesn't feel comfortable is because that question there. Guess what my teacher said today? Aren't you glad Māori Language Week is over, because don't you get bored speaking te reo all the time? Beautiful thing to say to a very proud Māori in 2017. You hear stories, don't you, about the strap for speaking te reo? Her mana just went boom in 2015 when that happened. Could have been, it might as well have been the strap. Okay, next one. Hoana, what do I do if I think my teacher is racist? I said, tell me and I'll go down there and deal to her. Why can't they contextualise my learning in my world? These are all the thinking of children in our schools. She could articulate it, she knew she would be heard and understood. Te Arahau Max is premised on a belief that Māori language, culture and identity is foundational to the learning and success of the Māori child. In other words, success and achievement should not be at the expense of language, culture and identity, the historic context of our education system. And of course today and yesterday and tomorrow we start to change. It's not going to be like that anymore, because we've got Max and we've got courageous people. So the culture of a child, so we talk about the importance of culture, but the culture of the child cannot enter the classroom unless it's in the consciousness of the teacher. And it certainly won't get into the school gate if it's not in the consciousness of the principal. So it requires deliberate plan and action, not just left to chance. So at the heart of Max's Whanaungatanga, it's about relationships, it's about aroha, it's about hononga, it's about connection, it's about truth, it's about honesty, it's about courage, trust and commitment. The mana and dignity of everybody involved in that is upheld and respected and deeply cared for. People feel incredibly safe. Max aims to increase the knowledge and therefore the effectiveness of leadership in schools, in a belief that schools won't change unless the principal does. You have to acknowledge your influence. You have to acknowledge that you have the power and the influence to create change if you choose. Max is about changing the hearts and minds of principals through a process of, and Melinda mentioned this, a process of critical reflection, analysis and conscientisation. Now that little sentence there, you will find all of those words and those concepts in your teacher Code of Professional Responsibility, your teacher standards and tātaia, because that's actually what it's asking you. Actually, learning te reo, understanding and enacting bicultural practices and the Treaty of Waitangi is not a choice. In fact, it never actually has been. But teachers and principals have been ticked off, attested against that for decades. But anyway, moving on, we're changing all that. The process of change starts with an understanding that there is a need to change. Okay, do you all agree that in our education system we need to change? Stuff needs to change? Okay, so if we agree that stuff needs to change, that we also acknowledge that we don't all have all the knowledge that we need. So you find and latch on to somebody, or you ask somebody else, can you give me a hand with this? So changing hearts and minds starts with self. Changing self enables an understanding of those different to me. Therein lies the start of a relationship. The role of the education system and the educators within it to maximise the cultural capital of the Māori learner as foundational to enhancing their mana, success and achievement culturally as well as academically. If I just ask you, please, could you just tell me who can articulate tangata whenuatanga as is now deeply embedded in the Code of Professional Responsibility and the standards? So who reckons they've got that sus that when they're ticking off their teachers they know what they're talking about? Ka pai. So, okay, so how are we going to do that anyway? Max. As treaty citizens of Aotearoa, we are each responsible and accountable for the active expression of the treaty. And look, the treaty is not just about Māori. The treaty is ours as a nation. It gives each of us, regardless of it, that's our commonality. We are treaty citizens. So it gives us, each of us, rights, responsibilities and accountabilities. And at the very minimum level, this accountability is clearly articulated, and I've said that, and it's not a choice. So Max is based on the work of Paulo Freire, who asked us as educators to dare to think differently, to dare to act differently, to dare to dream differently. We must dare to learn how to dare in order to say no to the bureaucratisation, oh I said it, false teeth and all, of the mind to which we are exposed every day. We must dare so that we continue to do so, even when it is so much more materially advantageous to stop daring. Love that, man. So what do we want? Māori students engaging in relevant, authentic and culturally affirming contexts, enjoying and achieving educational success as Māori. Culture counts. Now I want to acknowledge the mahi that you're doing in your schools. I want to acknowledge that I go into schools and I see amazing practice. I can go into a school and I can tell where Māori kids feel their mana's enhanced. I've seen some schools that live everything that I aspire to have in every school in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I want to acknowledge that. I want to ask now, are there any MAC facilitators in the room? Damon Ritai, can you stand up, Damon? Damon from Taranaki. Are you the only one of the rest gone? Oh, so Helen Varney. She's a MAC, our vision is for a pack. Linda Lowe. And up there, he was sitting up there on his throne, Mr. Pat Newman. We have others. Now, thank you. Can you give them a big paki because they're doing amazing stuff. I just want to ask, if you're a MAC school, can you stand up? If you're in a MAC, can you stand up? I want you to acknowledge, first of all, I wanted to acknowledge the MAC facilitators as visionary, transformational leaders. And for you, I want to acknowledge you. Can you all give them a big paki please? I want to acknowledge you all as transformational, passionate and courageous leaders. Stepping out of your comfort zone, taking risks, reaping rewards, gaining a whole lot of aunties and uncles and cousins, which is awesome, being really connected, becoming part of a whānau that loves and cares about you. And be courageous, feel the fear, and do it anyway. So nō reira koutou, that's Max in a nutshell. All of what happens with it you saw this morning. So 15 minutes I had to sort of say, Max, you need to be a part of it. And hopefully in the future we can open that invitation a little bit wider. But I want you to all give yourselves a big clap anyway for the amazing work that you do in your schools every day. And to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I hope you have an absolutely awesome night tonight, kicking up your heels. And I would say, look, when I talk about courage and being courageous, I believe that I'm courageous. Standing up here in a predominantly non-Māori audience is not always easy. But I do it. It doesn't mean I don't have like that beforehand, I just hide it well. But I am not going up on that thing tonight to go to that dinner. You know, I might have got wiser as I've got older, but I've certainly also recognised that I've got a fear of heights. Yes, so nō reira koutou, thank you for the opportunity. Awesome to be here with you all. And, you know, if the chance happens, put your hand up and become a Mac. Kia ora koutou katoa. Kia ora.
Ko tātou nei waiata, ko tūtira mai ngā iwi. E tū tātou. Toru, pā. Tūtira mai ngā iwi. Tātou, tātou e. Tūtira mai ngā iwi. Tātou, tātou e. Whai a te māramatanga. Me te aroha e ngā iwi. Ki a potapotahi, ki a potahira. Tātou, tātou e. Tātou, tātou.